Imagine stepping into a community where pretty much every interaction, every public gesture, every single word is, well, meticulously guided.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What kind of wisdom shapes rules that detailed? And what kinds of situations would actually lead to them being created in the first place?
Exactly. It's definitely more than just a thought experiment. It's like a window into human nature itself.
Right. Rules, especially the really specific ones, they rarely just appear out of nowhere. They're usually born from, real-life friction, from mistakes, missteps.
Yeah, and a deep understanding of how communities actually work, how they thrive.
Precisely.
And today we're taking a deep dive into an extraordinary set of guidelines, the Pācittiya rules. These come from ancient Buddhist monastic texts, specifically the ones governing the conduct of bhikkhunīs, or Buddhist nuns. And these aren't just like dry legal codes, you see. They're really vivid snapshots.
Yeah, snapshots into their daily lives, the social expectations, the intricate ethical thinking of a community living thousands of years ago in India.
So where are we getting this information?
Okay, so our sources for this deep dive are specific bits from the Pācittiya section of the Bhikkhunīvibhaṅga. We're focusing on rules 11 through 20.
Got it.
And these texts, they meticulously record the specific incidents, the actual events that led to these rules. They often detail, a particular nun's misstep.
And then the Buddha's pronouncement that followed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember, when we talk about a Pācittiya offense, that's a pretty serious thing. It requires formal confession, absolution.
Okay.
Whereas a dukkha offense, that's a lighter misstep. Still needs acknowledging, but less severe.
Right. So our mission today is basically to unpack these ancient rules. We want to understand the incidents behind them and maybe discover the underlying wisdom, the practical side that, well, might still resonate today.
We're looking for those aha moments,
Yeah.
the bits that show how carefully these communities manage their spiritual path while also sort of living gracefully within society's norms.
Okay, let's unpack this. So our journey into these ancient records, it starts in Savatthi.
Right, at the Jetavana monastery.
Yeah.
A common setting for these stories.
And as we step into this, vibrant communal life, the first stories we hit really highlight this inherent tension.
Tension between what?
Between, individual conduct and the community always watching, especially when dealing with people outside the monastery.
Precisely. And this is where we first meet this bhikkhuni, a disciple of Padakapalani.
Okay.
She meets a male relative from her village. And the first incident, this is what leads to Pācittiya Rule 11. It describes her standing and talking alone with him.
Where?
In the dark, without any light.
Yeah.
And, the other nuns saw this and they were, concerned.
Understandably. So the rule that came out of that, Pācittiya 11.
Yeah, it states that if a bhikkhuni stands or talks alone and this is specific, perceptive and capable human male.
Human male. Okay. Not an animal or spirit.
Right, perceptive and capable. In the dark, without light, it's a Pācittiya offense, and there's more detail.
Oh.
The offense applies if they're within arm's reach. The term is hatapasa.
Arm's reach. Wow. Very specific.
Very. If they're outside arm's reach, it's a lesser offense, a dukkha.
Right.
But the story with this nun, it doesn't end there.
Oh, it keeps going.
Yeah, it escalated. The same bhikkhuni then meets the same man, but this time in a concealed place.
Like hidden away somewhere.
Exactly. And this led to Pācittiya 12, standing or talking alone with a man in a concealed place. Also a Pācittiya offense.
And how broad is concealed?
Pretty broad, actually. Behind a wall, a door, a mat, a fence, a tree, a pillar, even a granary. Basically anything that hides them.
Okay, so dark, then concealed. What next?
Well, then, in a third step, she meets him in an open, unconcealed place.
Out in the open. And that was also a problem.
Apparently so. That prompted Pācittiya 13, standing or talking alone with a man, even in an open, unconcealed place, also a Pācittiya offense.
Unconcealed just means, not hidden by walls or anything.
Simple as that.
Yeah. This progression, dark, concealed, open, for rules 11, 12, 13, it's quite striking. What do you think this sequence really tells us about their priorities?
Well, it seems profoundly about perception, doesn't it? I mean, beyond just preventing actual wrongdoing.
Right.
They were meticulously trying to build or maintain a reputation of being completely blameless. Even the appearance of impropriety could be damaging.
Damage the public trust.
Exactly. Which, for a monastic order living off lay support, that trust was absolutely everything. So these rules feel like they're about social optics just as much as internal discipline.
So it wasn't just private meetings under scrutiny. How they appeared in public was just as critical.
Definitely.
And speaking of public visibility, Thulananda, she seems to pop up quite a bit in these roles.
Well, yes, Thulananda Bhikkhunī, she certainly makes an impression. So she was seen standing, talking, even whispering with men, alone.
Where?
In public places, like streets, assembly places, crossroads. The text even mentions she sent away another Bhikkhunī who was with her.
To be alone with the man.
It seems that way, yeah. The text implies it.
Okay, so what rule came from that?
That led to Pācittiya 14. If a bhikkhuni stands or talks alone with a man in a street, that's Sāvatthiyaṃ, or an assembly place junction, bishe or crossroads, sugyai, or if she whispers nikantike japaya to him alone, it's a Pācittiya offense.
And sending the other nun away?
That specifically, if done with a desire to engage in improper conduct, was noted as a dukkata offense, a lesser charge, but still wrong.
It's really clear here how much their sort of spiritual authority and their ability to get support depended on how the lay community saw them.
Absolutely. Think about it. The monastic community relied entirely on the goodwill, the donations of lay people.
Right.
Any behavior that could be twisted or worse, lead to actual scandal, it directly threatened their very existence, their ability to practice. These rules are fundamentally about protecting that crucial relationship.
Okay. Building on that idea, maintaining trust with the lay community, we can shift focus a bit from those direct interactions to the more nuanced rules about how a bhikkhuni should behave when visiting the families who supported them.
Yeah, this shows a really delicate balance they had to strike.
How so?
Well, take Pācittiya 15, the case of the neglected seat. There's this bhikkhuni who regularly got meals from a particular family.
Okay.
She visits them one morning, sits down on a cushion, and then just gets up and leaves without saying anything, without asking permission from the householder.
Just left.
Just left. Later, a maid is sweeping, finds the cushion, puts it away. Then the family asks the bhikkhuni, hey, where's that cushion? And she said,
I don't know.
I don't know, which wasn't quite true, or at least misleading.
Oh, dear. What happened?
Well, the family got angry, scolded her, and actually cut off her meal support.
Wow.
Now, eventually, they found the cushion, realized what happened, and reinstated her meals. But the damage, or potential damage, was done.
So that led to the rule.
Exactly. Pācittiya 15 says if a bhikkhuni visits a family before noon, specifically defined as dawn, until midday sits down, and then leaves without asking the owner or master, the samika of the house, it's a Pācittiya offense.
And it mentions before noon, pure bhatai, and specific family types.
Yes, Khattiya, Brahmana, Vesa, Sudha, basically covering all the main social groups. It applied across the board.
This really highlights the subtle social stuff going on.
It does. The monastics were dependent, sure, but they also had to show immense respect and gratitude. A simple, maybe thoughtless act, like not asking permission before leaving a seat you used,
could be seen as a real slight.
a breach of that social contract, yeah. And it could jeopardize the very support they needed to survive.
And then there's Thulananda again, Pācittiya 16. What did she do this time?
Ah, Thulananda. This time, she's visiting families afternoon. And again, without asking permission, she just casually sits down or even lies down on their seats.
Just makes herself at home.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the householders, they felt uncomfortable. They started grumbling about it.
So the rule, Pācittiya 16.
Simple enough. If a bhikkhuni visits a family afternoon, that's midday until sunset, and, without asking the owner, sits or lies down on their seats, Pācittiya offense.
It's a very clear boundary about respecting people's private space and their stuff.
Definitely.
And then there's one more in this hospitality section, Pācittiya 17, the late-night bedding incident. This one sounds illustrative.
It really is. So several bhikkhunis are traveling to Savatthi. They arrive at a village late in the evening.
Okay.
They ask a Brahmin family for a place to stay. The Brahmin woman says, okay, but wait for my husband to get back.
Makes sense.
But the bhikkhunis,
Yeah.
they don't wait. They don't ask again. They just proceed to spread out their bedding. Some sit, some lie down.
Oh, they just moved in?
Effectively, yes. And when the Brahmin man returns, he sees them there.
And he's not happy.
Not at all. He angrily throws them out. And the text says he called them shaven-headed loose women.
Wow. Strong words. So the rule.
Pācittiya 17. If a bhikkhuni visits a family at an improper time, defined as after sunset until dawn and, without asking the owner, spreads out bedding or has it spread out and sits or lies down. Pācittiya offense.
An improper time, Vikalo, is clearly defined.
Yes. And bedding, Saya, is also defined broadly. Even just a leaf mat counts.
These incidents together, they really, they paint a clear picture. The need for mutual respect, clear communication.
Absolutely. Between the monastics and their supporters.
It's all about preventing misunderstandings that could really strain that crucial relationship. When you look at these rules, 15, 16, 17, the courtesy, the hospitality rules, what does it tell you about the practical side of things, communal living, interdependence back then?
It tells us they were incredibly pragmatic, really grounded. They understood their spiritual path wasn't happening in some kind of bubble.
Right.
It was deeply connected to social harmony and getting consistent support from lay folks. So setting up clear rules of etiquette, of politeness, was just as vital for them as, say, meditation practice.
For their long-term survival, their flourishing.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've looked at external relationships. Now let's shift focus inward. Maintaining harmony and integrity within the monastic community itself, especially around speech and emotional conduct.
Right. And Bhikkhunī 18 gives us a good example, the case of the misrepresented robe.
A robe, okay.
So there's another bhikkhuni, also a disciple of Bhaddha Kapilana. She served Bhaddha Kapilani diligently, and Bhaddha Kapilani says, "I'll give you a robe, a promise."
That seems nice.
It is. But the disciple somehow misinterprets this or maybe deliberately twists it and starts spreading a rumor. She tells others that Bhaddha Kapilani said she wouldn't give her a robe, supposedly because she hadn't served well enough.
The opposite of what was said.
Exactly. And this, naturally, causes other people to complain, creates friction.
So the rule, Pācittiya 18, deals with this kind of miscommunication.
Yes. It states that if a bhikkhuni causes another ordained person to complain by using misunderstood words, duggahitena, or misinterpreted words, duppaturitina, it's a Pācittiya offense.
It's almost like a case study in communication breakdown, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And what's really fascinating here is the emphasis on precise communication, avoiding gossip, avoiding misrepresentation.
Yeah.
It shows how even, seemingly small misstatements or misunderstandings could cause significant problems, real discord in a close-knit group like that.
Makes you think, doesn't it? How crucial clear, honest communication is for the stability of any group, really, not just monks or nuns.
Absolutely, a universal principle.
Okay, this theme of internal harmony, it continues with some quite dramatic incidents involving someone named Bhikkhunī.
Kantayali, yes.
Reading about her, you kind of picture her as maybe that one difficult person you find in almost any community, right? Someone who pushes the boundaries.
She certainly seems to have caused some waves. In the incident for Pācittiya 19, other bhikkhunis accuse her of taking things they'd lost. Stealing, basically.
And how does Kachali react?
Not well. She declares, very loudly, "I am surely a thief, I am surely shameless. If I've taken your belongings, may I cease to be a renunciant. May I fall from the holy life. May I go to hell."
Wow, that's extreme. A conditional curse on herself?
Extremely. And then she adds that anyone who falsely accused her should suffer the exact same fate.
Goodness, so Pācittiya 19 addresses this.
It does. It forbids these kinds of extreme reactions. If a bhikkhuni curses herself or another ordained person with hell Narayana or with losing the holy life Brahmacharyana, it's a Pācittiya offense.
What about lesser curses?
The text mentions that cursing with other misfortunes like being reborn an animal, a ghost, or having some human bad luck that results in a lesser dukkha offense. Still not okay, but not as serious as invoking hell or loss of the path.
Okay, and then Kachali again in Pācittiya 20. Her emotional outburst goes even further.
It does. After another argument with bhikkhunis, she apparently hits herself repeatedly and cries very loudly.
Hits herself and cries.
Yes, and the rule that came from this states that if a bhikkhuni hits herself and cries, it's a Pācittiya offense.
What if she only does one, like just hits herself or just cries?
Good question. The text clarifies. If she only hits herself but doesn't cry, or only cries but doesn't hit herself, it's a dukkha offense. Again, lesser, but still an offense.
Is there any exception for crying?
There is, actually. Crying because of genuine distress, like losing relatives or wealth, or being ill, that's permissible if she doesn't hit herself.
Okay, that makes sense. These last two incidents with Kantakali, they're certainly quite intense.
They really are.
They seem to really highlight how important emotional regulation was considered, maintaining composure, even when things get heated.
Exactly.
So what does this tell us about managing conflict, about personal expression within such a disciplined community?
Well, these rules really underscore the value they placed on self-control,
Yeah.
on avoiding behaviors that could shatter the peace of the group or undermine an individual's own spiritual practice.
Right.
These kinds of emotional outbursts, especially involving self-harm or really aggressive cursing, they were seen as highly damaging to the monastic ideal. A direct contradiction, really, to the path of seeking equanimity.
So we've explored quite a fascinating range of rules today, from, discreet interactions
In a dark arm's reach.
to public conduct whispering at crossroads.
Right.
And from respectful hospitality, don't forget the cushion,
You ever forget the cushion.
to managing internal community dynamics like gossip and emotional outbursts.
Yeah.
These Pācittiya rules, you see how they grew out of specific incidents back in ancient India. They really reveal a community that was striving hard for integrity, for harmony, and for public respect.
And they're clearly not just about punishment, are they? They feel more like they're about guiding behavior, fostering a supportive environment where spiritual practice could actually happen.
Yeah, and the details, like within arm's reach or afternoon, it shows such incredible pragmatism, a real attention to human nature.
It's kind of astonishing, isn't it, how universal some of these human challenges remain, even across millennia.
They really are a testament to how, even thousands of years ago, people, communities, they wrestled with the same kinds of questions we do. Social grace, ethical communication, personal accountability.
And as you reflect on these really detailed rules coming from an ancient monastic tradition, maybe consider how much of our own modern social etiquette, are unwritten rules.
Things we just do.
Exactly. How much do they echo these very same concerns? About respect, about perception, about keeping the community harmonious.
So here's a thought to leave you with. What specific, maybe unspoken rules do you observe in your daily life? And just maybe, what might be the incidents, the little frictions or misunderstandings that perhaps led to their quiet establishment?